So they come by the Jordan from Beth Jezimah, as far as the Abel Acacia Grove, in the plains of Moab. And the Lord spoke to Moses in the plains of Moab, the Jordan across from Jericho, saying, 51.
Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you have crossed the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Destroy all their engraved stones. Destroy all their destroy all their molded images, and demolish all the high places.
53.
You shall dispose the inhabitants of the land and dwellers, for I have given you the land to possess, and you shall divide the land of the lot of inheritance among your family. To the larger you shall give a larger inheritance, and to the smaller you shall give a smaller inheritance. There everyone inheritance shall be whatever falls to him by law. You shall inherit according to the tribute of
55.
But if ye will not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall come to pass that those which ye let remain of them shall be pricks in your eyes, and thorns in your sides, and shall vex you in the land wherein ye dwell. Moreover, it shall come to pass that I shall do unto you as I thought to do unto them.
So guys, if we go back into your paper, maybe I need to start. But close to the end, not the last page, the page before last. You got an A, B, I don't know why. A, B, C, D, E. That's page 4. So I've got, remember they're this close to going to crossing over. Remember they're on the east side of the Jordan now. Remember what 3 tribes have already made their decision that they want to stay over. What 3 tribes have made their decision that they want to stay over?
The Reubenites.
The Reubenites.
And part of Manasseh.
Manasseh. So Dwayne has been listening for 1 Jim will give you documentation today. I know Jim will give you documentation today.
Maybe.
33 is where we're at.
Ow.
If you look at 33.
And you tell me you don't have it?
33. Sandy, do you have 33? She over there bothering Calvin. Bothering Calvin.
Sit down.
Leave one for Courtney. Leave one for Courtney. All 3. All 3.
I'll find it.
I'll make some copies.
This is something.
What do we need? 14, 2 for her.
14.
They gonna need 14.
You know, we need this.
You mean 34.
34.
That's when we got there.
Well, we're gonna get real quick. Because I'm not gonna put a lot of time.
I got it.
She ain't even got the paper. She called herself a Christian.
All day and all night.
What you need at the end of the day? Well, the Lord said, give me 33. You go in. You would go in. She couldn't go.
I can tell them what happened.
The dog ate it. what happened?
I should do it. Well, what happened was,
We're at 33 guys, so if you got 33, you should see, yeah, she got it, 33. And then your 33, you should be, you still don't have it, huh? He got one, he'll give it to you.
It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, did you get one last week?
I did.
Maybe you wrote it all on
I did. It's okay. See, that's why I said I have all the others. I'm ready to go.
But anyway, looking at 33 guys, remember, oh, so to should know, Corday, you're gonna go to 30, Numbers 33. And we're down to 50, for now the Lord has spoken to Moses and the things of Moab by the Jordan across the river, and he's saying to the children of Israel, they're going to cross over. They're going to do as God has asked them to do, but God has disciplined them. God has trained them. God has told them exactly what they're to do. I made the statement, God is a God of order. He's a God of order. God is a God of order. You can turn it to the last page, flip it over to your, close to your last page.
He said I need 33.
33.
Oh, okay.
33. So you should be on your last, couple of the last page, and you should see 80. Last page. You see it now, yeah, on the back side. See it, 80. On the back side, the other side, yeah, that's it. See it? So something from the, here's God once again doing what? I said he's a God of order, right? If he's a God of order, then we need to understand if he's a God of oh, it's like that. It's like that, huh?
I want to try to distract you. God is not the order.
You got candy. Now, who in the candy?
oh, she got candy.
You know that candy.
Yeah, because he stopped on the track.
I can't get
So anyway, you're going to have to go over. That's the reason why you see that in 34. You see that when we get there. But I wanted you to see this. So now that they're ready to cross over, God, I said, is a God of order. He does things, God does things, and he expects them to be done. Remember, whatever God says, he can't reverse it. It is what he says it is, and it shall be done. So that if we look at our paper, look at the text, remember, and then I'm going to need some readers. I said 52 said what? Your verse 52 says what? Verse 52 in your Bible says what?
Then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you. Destroy all their engraved stones, destroy all their molded images, and demolish all their high places.
Now come to your paper, look at your paper. Your paper says in A, it says what? Read these in. A. That's why I said it. Because she got candy in her mouth. Got it. I got it.
The Israelites were to drive out all the enemies who opposed their entering the promised land. No unbeliever was to be allowed to live in the promised land.
Guys, I wanted you to see that. Remember what it's saying, because Calvin just read it out of 52, right? How he's to drive out all the inhabitants, right? So remember, who's to come with them? Remember, on the other side, what tribes are still remaining? On the other side. They haven't crossed over to the north side of Jordan. They're still on the south. So what other tribes have not crossed over with them? Okay, what you said was what? Reubenites? Gad? Half tribe of Manasseh. So now he's giving he's giving them instructions. Who's supposed to go?
Everybody.
Oh, you need to see it. Even though you wanted to stay, you still need to go. So they're on their way to fight. So they're on their way to claim a land that God has given them. We call it the land of milk and honey, so you can't remove that. So now they're on their way to fight. And then I put this down, and I said, as she read it, it says to drive out all the enemies, right? To drive out all the enemies, right? Who oppose their entering into the promised land. Now, who would oppose their entering into the promised land?
Those who inhabit.
B-E. Unbelievers. Unbelievers. He's making it quite clear as a bell who can't go across. He says unbelievers. Now understand me, he says unbelievers. So then that would also include, the three are going to go to fight. They can't have the land. They can't have that land. But I make the statement, it's just like the church. It's just like the church as a whole. You've got everybody that's a part of all the people that are participating. They come in Sunday morning, they're a part of the church. But does that make them believers? You see what I'm saying? It's just like when the Israelites had left Egypt. Did all leave Egypt?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, say that again, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said it. Did all leave Egypt? So, and then that's the point. Because they were Israelites, but did they all cross over? Did they all, when it was time to move on, did they all move?
No.
Did they all remove idols?
No.
No.
And molten images?
No.
No.
You see what I'm saying? And it's just the same way with the church. The church itself, like I said, stop and think about it. The Israelites were what? The church of the wilderness. That's what they were. So then, if they're the churches in the wilderness, what he's doing now is, here's the churches in the wilderness. He's giving them instructions on what they are to do. But you've got to understand this. Do all believe? Will all accept? And it's the same way in the church. Sure, I heard the message 400,000 times on what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to live. Do all live that way? You see what I'm saying? You still, wait a minute, I know better. I'm talking to, I think it was Mallory today, and made it clear as bell. We don't get it, so let me help you. Don't you understand, once you leave here, you can't come back? Did you hear me? Once you leave here, you can't come back. What do you mean? You can't fix. Now that I'm over here, oh my goodness, it's real. So Lord, if you let me go back, Lord, I know better. Well, I know what not to do anymore. And that is the attitude here that's going to take place. Not everybody's going to participate. Let me give you something even deeper than this. Those that are over, that's going to cross over, is ahead of time. Those that are going to cross over, God is going to give everybody, you just said in your reading, the ones that are small tribes get smaller, the ones that are larger get a larger life. Well, did you know, even in God passing out this land, did you know even to this day, all of Israel don't have it. Didn't receive every promise of God. Did you hear me? To this day, did not receive. Why do you think they're fighting so much? And what are they claiming? That's our land. No, it's not. God, you didn't do something. Now I'll look at your 52 and I'm going to show you what you didn't do. And this is even today. Read 52 again.
Then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images, and quite pluck down all their high places.
So then what were they supposed to do? What you just read. That they were supposed to do. Here's the biggest one. Those are the little things that they should have done. Your biggest one was, read it again, 52, and I'll tell you when to stop.
Then ye shall drive out
That's the
all
biggest one.
the inhabitants.
That's the biggest one.
It's the ground home.
That's the biggest one. It's the same way with us today. You're not doing it. It's the same way. He says, what are you doing? You to get rid of all that evil. You're not to hold any, you know what, that's the person. What was their problem when they were coming over? Remember, Finney? Remember? He had to do something, remember? Remember? He ran the spear. But watch this. What was going on? What type? Remember, there were women.
They were sitting in the camp. Yeah.
Who? Remember?
The women.
Y'all don't know the tribe?
The Moabites.
Moabites. Remember the Moabites actually sent, I know you're a little lost. We'll get you there. But the Moabites came down. The Moabites purposely, when they found out that Israel was coming, the Moabites immediately sent down some of the loosest women they could into the camp of Israel. Watch this, the men aren't used to seeing women with their breasts hanging. They're not used to seeing where the items, where their clothing are a little short. Remember, their clothing don't have to be, just a little bit of, it can go straight to the knee, and that's more what they've seen. Stop and think about it. It didn't have to be completely where their breast is exposed. It can just come enough where cleavage is showing. You've never seen this before, Israel. You've been under God's protection. God has been watching you. So all of a sudden, when they come down, what are men? Men are vision. Men see. You can have the heaviest, thickest coat on and have you from knee to the top. And that man sees exactly what he wants to see. He's already visioned in his mind what your body looks like. So here they are. You've got the Moabite, the loose women that have come into the camp. And what was it? What was the problem with that? Remember, something had to take place. Remember, in order to clean the camp, something had to take place. What was required to clean the camp, to get the sin out of the camp?
Kill them. Right?
Kill them. You got to kill them. And watch this, not only did you have to kill them, but what else did you have to kill?
Everything.
Whoa, no, come on. Now you're just talking, but what else?
Children.
What'd you say?
Children.
Isn't that everything?
Huh?
Isn't that everything?
You know, that's what when you say everything, but I want to pinpoint, because what is everything?
It's too general.
Well,
Yeah, what is
not to
everything?
me, everything.
No, but what is everything? That's what I said.
Everyone.
But
There you go.
What's your everything? I would have said, you're right, kill all the women that came down. Because I said that's who came down, was the women. So that would have been everything. Kill all the women that came. But they're the children. These men have produced children. All of them got to go now. You got to kill all this. Can you do it? Can you kill your son? Can you kill your daughter?
Say what?
Can you do it?
Still what?
Stop and think about it. Can you do it? Remember, they were producing children. Can you do it? But God said, kill it. And why then would God want to kill it? Why would God want to kill the children as well as the women? Why would God want to kill them? Because you're not reading. Because if you read, your 52 told you why. Read your Bible. Don't just blur out. Read your Bible. Read your Bible.
Then ye shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you, and destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their
Destroy all their what?
Their pictures, and destroy
Well,
all
how they
their
ain't no
molten
pictures, do
images.
they? They ain't got no pictures.
Well, it says pictures in this translation.
Yeah, so your images.
Well, no, I have, no. This one says, and
Pictures.
destroy all their pictures, and destroy all their molten images.
Okay, so then.
The
what-
pictures is carved figures.
Yes, so then, as I said, by looking at a picture, see how that can throw you off? I don't know what translation it is.
This one.
But you see how they can throw you off because pictures, they ain't have no cameras. You know what I'm saying? How they get pictures. But you see what I'm saying? That would be our mentality.
Yeah.
Where are the pictures coming
Yeah,
from?
why does it say-
When it's, but watch this, and then you said molten, I heard you say the next.
I had a molten image.
Then you said molten images. See what I'm saying? So then that would certainly create a problem.
And then
What
you
is
close
pictures?
down all their high
I know what that is, but I'm just saying pictures and then molten images. That would create a problem. Because I'm looking at, I could understand when you said molten images, because that would be what I would consider the picture. That would be what I would consider the picture. But you got pictures. See what I'm saying? So we have to be careful with words. I bet you that's not an original. I bet you that's not in the original. I said if I was to go back and review it, I bet you that's not, that word is not in the original. And you say, well, why is that so important? That's why the Sunday afternoon classes, that's why what I'm going to do with you all is get you where you understand original language. Original language is very important. Why? Because remember, the Bible has been what? Translated. Remember? It's been translated. Then you got New American, you got NIV, you got English, you got it, you name it, you got it. Well, these have all been translated. And they've been, I'm writing this out, and I know you may, I got another word I can use, and I'll use this one. Well, does it keep the same impact? No. You got it. It changes the whole, yours is a perfect example. It changes, Gacy says she has the same thing. It changes the example. Because pictures, it changes the whole thing. So here's where I said that the thought was this. I told you something, that women had to be killed. The children had to go out. Why? And I gave you your answer in 52. Your answer said in 52 says what? You were reading it. That image. What? The idols. You said something about somebody.
Images in quite plugged down all their high places.
No. Let's go back. You skipped.
Okay. Well, then he shall drive out all their inhabitants, the inhabitants of the land from before you, and destroy all their pictures.
Go ahead.
And destroy all their molten images.
That's just what I wanted. Now you've got what? You've got your images of pictures, and then you've got what? Molten images. What is that? Yeah, so these are things that, remember what took place with Israel from the beginning. When they were coming out of Exodus, what took place? We were in the book of Exodus. Right, what did they do? What did Aaron say? Aaron said, I did what? All I did was throw the gold into the fire, and up came golden calves, but the idea of it was a molded image. That's what it was, a molded image. It wasn't God, it was a molded image. In that molded image, they worshiped as if that was a God.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So, but you see what I'm saying? Playing with words. See how they can throw people off? Yes. So then, look at what's going on. So you've got the molding image. Then, he's trying to tell you where they would go. To the what? High places. This is where they would go to worship at. Remember, I took you all out of Balaam. Remember Balaam, the one that spoke to the... Remember?
Donkey.
Remember the donkey spoke? Remember about Balaam? And remember, what did the kings want to do? They wanted to take him to the what? To the high places to worship. So they took Balaam, by what we look at, we thought Balaam was all right. Balaam was never all right. Balaam was an international what? Sorcerer. That's really what he was. But by looking at the scriptures, you don't see that. But he was an international sorcerer. And so Balaam, if he's international, that means Balaam is doing what?
Money.
Oh, he making some serious money, okay? And for you to call me king, to come down here and to put away these Israelites, even though he couldn't do it because God spoke to him, but after he did what God had asked him to do, what did he do?
Went back.
He went right back. He reverted right back. And went right back over the high places. He is not going to shortchange his money. Same thing we do. That's why I told you, this church, the church. We are people who make the church. We hear Jesus, hallelujah, praise his holy name. They got a party going Saturday night. Okay, I'll be there. Did you hear me? We do the same thing. You get caught up in the activities of the world because that's what you remember. You remember having a great time. Look, I can sit at home doing nothing, or I can go to this party and have some fun. Did you hear me? And then I'll go to church Sunday, and then I'll be the loudest to say amen. But you hear what I'm saying? Well, here's the situation. He's already told them the very first thing to do. What I want you to do is you want to go in and you want to destroy. That's the first thing you want to do. What? Kill the makers. Kill the creators. Kill them first. Then you can go out to their images or their pictures. And then you can go out to the things that they molded, that they keep, that they actually treasure, that they keep in with them wherever they go, they pull this out. I don't know about you all. I was trying to remember, Adrian was with me when we went out to evangelize, and I remember going into this lady's house not far from here, and she had this huge statue of Buddha. Huge statue of Buddha. And I'm like, wow. And you say, what are you doing? You don't waste your time. It's time to move on. Do you really think you're going to change a person overnight? You don't waste your time. They've already told you who they serve, Buddha. Well, that is that molded image. See what I'm saying? The problem is, they don't need to go to high places no more. They go to where? To their homes. It's now in their homes. And you don't realize that when they come here, I think I was telling Vivian, her friend. And her friend says, well, you know, I'm a Jew. Okay. No, I got it. I know why you identified yourself as a Jew. So you separated yourself. Here's what God is doing with them. They have been around or amongst many religions when they were in Egypt. Many religions. You pulled them out. You've got them taking a course. Why do you think God spends so much time with them? But that's that garbage in that's got to come out. And it ain't going to come out overnight. And so what do? You spend time. Let them stay in the desert. I told you it was only 2 weeks' journey. That's all that desert was. Then they could have went to the promised land. But why so long? And I know a lot of it was obedience, so you went 40 years. But stop and think about it. Why so long? If you had been obedient, God could have immediately took you in. Would God have taken you in immediately? Absolutely not. Hear me? Absolutely not. It's still in you. We talked about Sunday, levels of faith. You see what I'm saying? So, just because you came to the church, don't mean your faith changed. Well, you know, I know now what I need to do. No, you don't. Now, it's a process. Now you have to develop. Now you have to grow. Now it takes time for you to get out of whatever ways you were in. It takes time. And God keeps letting you live to come out of those ways. That's good, right? That's His grace. But eventually, even that comes to an end. God says, I've done it. Only God knows. I've done everything I could. I've given you, just like I've given everybody else, a chance to come to me. After a while, I don't know if anybody knows your heart. I think it's God. After a while, He knows you refuse to change. Your ways that you're doing, you ain't going to change them. Oh, you put on a good image when you come here, but your ways are the same. You still, when you tiptoe back out, you right back the same old way. When something comes into your life that you don't agree with, that same old you comes up. Where is the faith? Where is the growing that you're supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be. Patience was supposed to help you to grow. Long suffering was supposed to help you to grow. It wasn't there. James 1 says, count it all joy. And he talks about what patience does. It helps you. It's a good thing. It ain't a bad thing. It's a good thing. Trials and tribulations, really what he says. Your trials and tribulations that come your way, that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. These are things that will help to develop you to do what he wants to do. This is what he uses with us today. What he used to them was, hey, this is what I said do. You don't do it. Then his example was what? You got it. Then bury him. Yes.
I'm looking on studylight.org and it says, destroy all their pictures. It says, to be like or resemble either pictures, carved words, or embroidery. As far as these things were employed to exhibit the abomination of idolatry.
So listen to what she said too. There's another word, embroidery. Do you see what they were doing? You got some folks don't do, ladies don't do today. Embroidery. So, can you imagine what they were doing? So I don't have the mold and image, but I'll just go ahead. I can sew it, I can embroider. That's deep. You see what I'm saying? And this is the mindset you got to get out of them. But here's what you got to understand too, more so than anything. We are very intelligent people compared to them. They were very illiterate. You got to think on that. I don't know about you. A lot of your fights that you see in the mall, the boxer ball went down outside of it. These fightings that you see, did you know this? A lot of times this is behind what? Illiteracy. That's really what this is behind. Watch this. An intellectual man ain't gonna fight you with his hands.
Not today.
He gonna take you to court. He gonna take you to court. You hear me? I'm gonna fight you where it hurts. Okay, because me sitting here fighting and us getting bloody, and now I gotta replace my shirt. That ain't gonna get it. But me taking you to court and fighting it, and I take your money. I've never even thought of that. Right. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, messed up your record.
Listen, you're right, because now misdemeanor. I was talking to someone the other day, they said, you know, my son only committed a misdemeanor, but he can't, you know, it's got to put down on the, it's got to go down on the application. She said, but I don't understand it, but those that commit felonies get jobs. I said, no, those that commit felonies, they the same way. I said, but here's what happens. They eventually take a skill while they're in prison. That's one. I said, or they come out and they take construction work. You know what I'm talking about? I said, because nobody's hurt. Anything where you don't pertain to money, you can't go nowhere near money. Right. So now look at the job you got. Yes.
I just want to share this because I used to work at an elementary school. I used to I had to suspend students. So I would just take it upon myself and try to talk to them. But I remember this one particular kid, and the lady told me, well, he only been suspended 2 times. And according to what I was seeing on screen, was she didn't realize, no, this kid has been suspended. It was a lot. There was many times, I think 8, 9, had 8 or 9 suspensions. But she was telling, I guess she was trying to make me believe it was 1-1. So I told her, well, whatever he's doing is following him. So you need to work with your child. Because he has a record now. And it's going to follow him throughout the rest of his life now. Because it's in the system.
Oh, I agree. Look at your paper, guys. I got your B. Your B is what we're talking about. Look at your B. That's what we're talking about. See, B says what?
The Israelites were to destroy all the idols and false worship that were in the promised land. Any image and any false worship were to be destroyed. There is only one true and living God, the Lord God himself, Jehovah Yahweh. He and he alone is to be worshipped.
Jehovah means what? Jehovah means what?
Power. No?
Jehovah. Let me help you. You
That's
write it
Savior.
down.
Is that Savior and power?
Jehovah means to save, salvation. Yahweh means,
Power?
there's your power. Yahweh is, he's going to save you with his power. Okay, so Jehovah is salvation. Yahweh is his power.
You say save with power and then save with salvation?
Well, yeah, you can either way you want to do it, but remember, just remember Jehovah as salvation is to save. And then Yahweh is with his power, or his powers.
Okay.
So that and that's why you see me say Jehovah Yahweh. Go ahead, Steve.
The Israelites were demolished all the false worship sites in the promised land. No false worship whatsoever was to be allowed. So long as worship sites remained, there would be a tendency for a weak and wicked person to seek false worship in order to ease his conscience. For this reason, all the false worship sites were to be demolished.
So now do you see why this has got to go away? Remember this, they're going into. Don't remove that. They're going into. Remember, you've got Reubenites, Gad, and you've got half tribe of Manasseh. Where are they at? They're on the other side. What did they see? Like, they don't see none of this. Remember that. But their instructions by Moses was, in order for you to have that, in order for you to keep that, then you have got to come with us to fight.
You gotta go in.
Which, listen to what we're talking about. You're going to the promised land. You're going into a land that the land that you want to stay is nothing compared to where you need to go. I said that because that's what with us. Wait a minute, what do you mean? God wants us to take us to heaven. But what we see, and you see it so often amongst the wealthy.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? This is what's, no, why would I want to leave my mountain?
Not Beverly Hills.
Yeah, we're right here. Do you understand what I'm driving?
HGTV?
Yeah, I'm driving a Bentley. Do you understand what I'm driving? Do you understand? I don't worry about a mortgage. When I came in to get that house, I purchased it straight up. Ain't no interest on that. As a matter of fact, I reduced the price of what that was when I purchased it. You know what I mean? And I still have plenty of money. The USC scandal. Right? Now you got UCLA doing the same thing. But the USC scandal. Once somebody spends $500,000 to send their child to USC. You say 500,000? Yeah, that's nothing.
To them.
Right. When I'm making 200 or 300 million, that's nothing. I could pull that out of my pocket and give it to you.
$5.
So I'm saying that's right. I like that, Steve, but that's really what it is. There's no big thing. So now, so for me to tell you heaven, what heaven got on me, then I can have it down there. You see what I'm saying? So then, not only do I believe and that this is all right down here, but you know what I also have? Just what this text says. Idols. Spiritualized. Hear that? Spiritual. Remember, right? You know what I'm talking about.
No, I just had to.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because I was just reading this sentence, I mean, 'cause I come out of the Baptist church,
Go ahead.
and it just dawned on me why you took so much time to talk to me, and why you take so much time to talk to others who struggle with the same things that I struggle with, which is why I said I always have to empty myself and come down to little to nothing, because if I continue to keep those thoughts in my mind of what I've learned, then I too, at my weakest moment, will have a tendency to go back to
You got it. That's good. You got it. It's exactly what will happen. Because watch this. You came out of a lot of music.
Right.
You came out of these things. And for you to, wait a minute, and watch it. So it wasn't going to happen overnight.
No.
You know, because in your mind, you know, okay, I'm coming there, I hear them sing, I hear them preach, I appreciate the word. They can improve on the singing. And here's how they can improve on the singing. Maybe get some instruments and up in here. You know what I'm saying? You know, then we'd be all right. Well, don't leave that other stuff alone. Stop it. Stop it. But anyway, improve on the singing. But still, listen to what I'm talking about. And what she had to struggle with. Because what I was listening to come in here, and not only hear you sing, but some of you can't even sing. But you hear what I'm saying? So I have to deal with that as well.
Yeah, that's a stumbling.
I understand your Ephesians 5:19. I understand psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. I understand that. But you don't understand what I was used to listening to. Portia was another one. Remember, said the same thing. She come out of AME. She said the same thing. It was difficult. You came out of Noah Jones, right? You came out of Noah. I was talking to Rico. Rico said, I'm telling you, it is, woo, it's cranking up over there.
Right.
And so to walk away from these things, it ain't going to happen overnight. You have to, wait a minute, I have to gradually, I have to let go of this. Can you? I'm going to give you something even smaller. Let's see the next. But I want to give you something even smaller. What type of music do you listen to when you're going home?
That's what I'm saying is that we don't even realize it, that we no different than the world.
I'm trying to tell you. But I told my wife, I says, all of a sudden, my soul town, 102.3,
We're
trying to figure out your other ones.
94.7.
But I don't listen to them no more. Now I'm on Kirk Franklin, because I have satellites. Okay, so now I'm on Kirk Franklin's now. Now I'm on something else. Well, she didn't want to do that.
No, she is.
Okay, so now watch this. So what are you doing? I'm changing. I'll listen to some ESPN. You know what I'm saying? I'll listen to some real jazz, stuff like that. But I'm not going to listen to any of this other stuff. If I could be with you tonight, baby. Well, what am I going to do with you tonight? But you see what I'm saying? And you don't realize it, but that's ingrained.
That is because I'm telling you, I'm experiencing it. You know, I used to, it didn't used to bother me so much, but now it's like, well, what's the purpose of you listening to this?
You got it.
You know, it's like, I mean, it's really made to, I mean, it has its own worldly gospel until it's inciting fornication.
That's what it's doing. It's not exciting fornication, adultery as well.
Yeah. So
What was
it's
it,
like,
Billy Paul? What was it, Billy Paul? Come on.
Me and Mrs. Jones.
What's that?
being
Lord have mercy. You got it. Me and Mrs. Jones. What'd you say?
So we have to want to change.
You have to. Now watch this. And it's not just you have to want it. Who has to change you?
You gotta work at it.
God has to change you.
Well, yeah.
So I'm saying God has to change you. That's why I said these are your levels of faith.
But it's hard. If
Right.
you talk to me every day, I wouldn't be here right now. I'm telling you I wouldn't.
Okay? What you said, because, hey, what do I do? And then what you said, I know you turned the corner a couple of times and went on back home. I know you turned the corner a couple of times. I mean, that's normal. That's real. You know, but I don't want to tell Pastor I was really over at Mount Zion, get my groove on. I don't really want to say that. But watch this. So I go on. If he don't bring it up, I'm cool.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying? But little by little, I realize, am I being honest with myself? Am I being honest with God? God has shown me a different direction, and I got to break this. How do I break this habit?
Right.
This is where they're at. They got to break these habits. They got to, first of all, you're going to go in to destroy these things in 52, right? You're going to go in. What about the ones you got? But you hear what I'm saying? So what does God have to do? He's got to get you to put it away first. Put this foolishness away first. Then you can, now when you go into idols. 1 Corinthians the 6th chapter says what? Go, 1 Corinthians the 6th chapter says what?
Dare any of you, having a matter against another,
Come on.
go to law before the unjust, and do
Hold
not...
up, just a second. Okay. So watch this. Go ahead. There you, come on.
And do not... and not before the saints.
Go ahead.
Do not know that the saints shall judge the
They
world?
who what?
Or do you not know that the saints
shall what?
judge the world?
You all see that?
Yeah.
You see that? Everybody see that?
No, I don't.
I thought you ain't got no Bible.
Because I was just asking my mother a question.
Well, that's what you like. She gonna give you the where it's at. She go in Revelation. Get it? Okay. Okay. So in 1 Corinthians the 6th chapter it says, "Do you not know that you will judge the world?" Stop and think about it. Watch this. How can I judge the world?
You got it in there.
I gotta do what? I've gotta
Put it away.
put away. I have to put away because watch this. I don't see what's wrong with because they dance and party. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Because you didn't put it away. Yes, sir.
I'm just saying that's scary to think like that. I don't see nothing wrong with it when you don't take the time to even look it up and see. You just, because you feel that it's wrong with it.
Yes, because you feel nothing's wrong with it.
Because you don't want it to be wrong.
Yes, and now that's denial.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like you said, now that's denial. Now, what's wrong with it? Now you're in denial. Yes, Steve first.
No, I was just saying that.
Okay, you done. Okay, now let's go.
I love it.
Go ahead, Steve.
No, but as I'm getting older,
You're getting older?
shut up. Now that I'm older, they're better. No, but now that I'm getting older and older, I see things a little bit different.
Go ahead.
Okay, say for instance, we neat freaks and everything, and we want everything to look good. And at our house,
Come on.
okay, he just put in the
Come on.
he just put in the bathroom. Okay, but then somebody may complain about some imperfections, and I'm thinking, we may not even wake up to even enjoy this. So, but my point is that God did something way better than this. Why we complaining?
So why you fussing? Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Calvin.
Yeah, I was just going to say, oftentimes we don't realize how conformed we really are. And because we're conformed, so conformed, it's easy for us to become creatures of habit.
Come on.
And instead of making change, we rather make adjustments. So we fixate on something else. It's the same thing. You got to change it. You don't adjust it, you change it. And that takes work.
That's the growing faith.
Amen.
That's your faith. That's growing. I'm growing little by little.
Right.
That I have to realize. I realized, first of all, when I was coming on Sunday morning to worship, and I wasn't consistent. See what I'm saying? But I was told to be consistent.
Amen.
But do you hear me? And I don't care what you say until I can see it, until I come out of denial, because it's been said over and over that I'm not to forsake the assembly. And it's in my Bible, Hebrews 10:24. But why haven't I? Because that's not what it's saying. No, it's saying that. But when I'm in denial, I'm saying, it didn't mean that. And I don't have to be in worship every time. So we come up with our thinking as God grows us, and sometimes He puts us in situations of our lives, transitioning periods in our lives. I told you, first of all, you can't change you. What was my sermon? What was my sermon?
This was
No, the other one. What was what?
You can't fix it.
That's it.
yeah.
You can't fix it. You tried all day long, you can't fix it. Until you surrender yourself to God, then God will highlight all of those things that you're doing wrong. Then you start to see it. Now the Holy Spirit can let you see that stop sign. You didn't see it because you didn't want to see it. Now when you surrender to God, now God can start to grow your faith. Now I can grow you up. Remember, nobody's going to enter into heaven immature. I'm telling you that straight. Nobody's going in there. Well, I didn't know. You're right. That's why you ain't going. Because I've put it in a book. I've told you to change. I've shown you what you need to do to change. You need to be around your brothers and sisters and those that are in Christ. I got to be careful with that. Because you got something to run right with you. Come on, we're going to party. Yeah, we're going to party. We're going to party. We're going to party together. And what we do is we party. And then what? Then Sunday we'll be there. No, I'm saying those that are in Christ Jesus, those that understand, hey, no, baby, we don't do these things anymore. We have to put these things away. Well, I haven't gotten there yet. Well, until you get there, I can't roll with you. Do you hear me? That's discipline. Till you get there, I can't do this with you. Why? Somebody's got to send the message. Somebody's watching you to see how you respond to things. I told you our biggest problems have been based upon what you said, feelings. What makes us feel good, this is what we participate in. God came and did what? I'll never forget your statement a long time ago. You said, God does not want us to live off feelings. He wants us to live off of knowledge. To know Him. To know Him removes these feelings. Because we know Jeremiah 17:9 says that what the adult heart does. That's your feelings, Jeremiah 17:9. That's your feelings. And He told you in that, and the heart is what? Desperately what? Wicked. So why are you relying on your heart, your feelings, to make decisions? I'm telling you, He's telling them to go in. You're going to go in. You're going to see some awesome things is what He's trying to get them to see. This is what this is about. So I'm giving you, by the way, this is strong warnings. This ain't no little bit of stuff. God is already telling me this is what you're going to see. You're going to watch this. You're going to desire. You will do it. Wait a minute. Do you see how that beautiful that is? And it's made of gold. And it's wrapped in pearls. Do you see how beautiful it is? He said, destroy it. Tear it down. Get rid of it. You hear what I'm saying? You walk in and God told you to get rid of everything. And you walk in into someone's mansion. Because that's what you're seeing. Remember, they lived in tents. All of a sudden, I see something more. I mean, that is awesome.
It's completely destroyed.
Well, maybe I'll keep this. But you hear what I'm saying? But when you get the right mindset, that's what He's trying to get them to understand. You've been to walk into a land of milk and honey. You've been to walk in where everything is laid out. You got to understand it's got to go. Yes, Teresa.
I was just thinking, the one thing I really just keep in mind is I know about the broad way and the narrow way. Everything here is temporary anyway.
Yes.
It's perishable.
Yes.
And I guess that's one thing, through studying with you, that there's nothing permanent here anyway.
Right.
So why put on your hopes and your rely on?
And so listen to what you're saying. So that means that you're learning. That means that you're growing. That means that you're developing. Little by little. Watch this. We say it. Now we have to do it.
Practice.
See, now we're right. What you saying? Because it ain't going to go away tomorrow.
No, it's not.
You know what? This is what I used to do all the time. And you trying to tell me I can't do this no more. And I will continue to preach it. I remember this? I says, running here late. I says, God is a God of order. Do you run in late to your job? And if you keep running in late to your job, what's going to happen? Eventually they'll terminate you. Stop and think about it. So what do you think God's going to have to do? Terminate you. No. Keep it right where it is. Terminate you. The kingdom of heaven matured that will enter into the... God ain't got to teach you nothing when you get into heaven. You've learned it all down here, what you are to do. Well, now I'm going to change. It's too late now. It's too late now. Once you cross over, you can't change it now. Once you thought that beautiful idol, once you saw that beautiful picture, you didn't want to get rid of it. You ain't never seen nothing like that. You hear me, Calvin? You ain't never seen nothing like that. Said the land of milk and honey. You ain't never seen nothing like that. You want to whoa. He says also to people, man, she is just too fine to kill. You got to be out your mind. You know how fine she is? Did you hear me? Even people.
Didn't he say all in
She's
heaven?
right, all in heaven.
All in
She's
heaven.
such a nice person. He's so nice. Hi, how are you? He's such a nice guy. Kill him. Kill it all.
Did that include the animals and everything?
Kill it. No, that wouldn't bother. It's just
The inhabitants of people.
Yeah, his greatest creation is his worst creation. Us. We won't listen. We got our own agendas. Stop and think about it. We have that mentality, that same mindset that Satan had. And that didn't, what happened with Satan? He got kicked out of heaven. And not only did he get kicked out of heaven, he got his what? He got his sentence. We have God's grace. Because we have God's grace, we have not been sentenced yet. He is giving us a chance to come out of the state of mind, because that's what it is, state of mind that we're in. You said a good one, Casey. I was sitting in that church. I don't understand. I'm talking to Pastor every day. We talk about everything, and I do mean everything under the sun. Tell me I'm talking about. We talk about everything under the sun. So you know what? Maybe I don't even realize it. Maybe she was asking little questions in her own little way without me even realizing it. But guess what? But you need an answer. Let's give the answer. Was the answer acceptable? Probably not. You know, yeah, okay, right. But you don't understand. I'm going to still do my thing. I'm going to still do my thing. Eventually, she starts to put these things away. Little by little. That's growing up. That's reaching a level of maturity. That's, watch this, here's the other side of that. God says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Hold on. This is obedience. Hold on. When we look at some of God's laws of obedience, and we've been living down here, did you catch it? Did you see where I'm coming from? That's hard. You don't understand what I'm used to doing. He says, and I understand that if you don't do what I tell you to do, the Israelites were killed. Eventually you too will be killed. You can't enter. You can't come in. So that's why I want you to see this. That's why I put that at the beginning. Unbelievers. That's so important. Unbelievers. Only those that are going to cross over are believers. Anybody that doesn't do, you will not inherit. You'll have to put it away. I want you to see this part. Travel on some more. I said, get back. Watch this. Get back. Watch this. Let's go back into your Bible. He says, watch this. He says in 53, he says, your Bible, 53 says what?
And ye shall dispossess the inhabitants of the land and dwell therein. For I have given you the land to possess it.
So I want you to do what?
What does that say?
Well, you're going to inherit, but you got to do something. You got to dispossess it. You got to. What'd you say? That's what I'm saying.
So you gotta kill it.
Steve used an example earlier. We like clean, you like your thing clean. You just moved in. You like everything clean, right? You want to clean it all up. Why you just gone and accept it the way it was? Why you just gone and look? It ain't just the So why don't you just keep your box right around? You know, that's your stuff. I mean, do your own box. Don't nobody, if they don't like it, they can leave. Right? Stop, think about it. So why do you keep it? No, because your mindset, based upon what your mom has taught you, what is cleanliness? Getting that mess out of that box and putting it in where it belongs. You see what I'm saying? That is cleanliness. Well, God wants us, watch this, He wants us what? Pure. He wants us cleansed. And you can't go into that land that's not pure. You gotta purify. You gotta go in and you gotta go possess. If I go in to possess something, I'm gonna tell you I don't like that box sitting there, so I'm gonna throw it out. Did you hear me? Lenny teases me all the time. Lord have mercy. You know, whatever it is in the church, wait a minute, if pastor get a hold to it,
It's gone.
it's gone. It's gone. My wife, she's forever. Lord have mercy. Where is? My son, where is? I said, probably on his way down to the dumps. Because if the trash man emptied it in time, it's probably on his way to the dumps. Why? Because I've always said if you wanted it, you could put it up. So you didn't want it. Here's what God is at. He's making it clear as a bell to them. You go in, you possess. You take control of it. Read. 54 says what? Read.
And ye shall divide the land by lot for an inheritance among your families. And to the more ye shall give, the more inheritance, and to the fewer ye shall give, the less inheritance.
What that sound like? See, that's one of your statements. To the more. To what? To whom much is given? Much is what?
Much more is required.
Did you hear me?
Much more.
But you hear me? Now that you know.
So watch out, rich person.
I know.
But it's true. So watch this. God has given you the ability to sing. God has given you, watch this, the ability to speak. God has given you the ability to teach. He's going to keep giving. Because you are showing that you can take it. And what God is saying, Jesse, no, that way, Lord, that's too much. He says, no, it isn't. And I'm going to give you this too. But Lord, you're giving me too much. No, why am I doing this? You don't realize that it's been proven you can handle this. Watch this. If you don't, and if you're not in full function, and with your Christian walk, do you understand what will happen what much is given as much as required? Do you understand what happens when something's been taken away from you? That's an idol. That's an idol. Now you're idol. Who come in? You know what I'm saying? Who come in? Satan. Satan now can come in. Wait a minute, but Lord, why did you take it? I gave it to you, you would not use it. I've given you the gift. You won't use it. What do I have to do? I take it away. I'll give it to someone else who has more. And I'll give them more. Because I didn't give it to somebody less, because they didn't have something. So why did you give it to them less? No, because they can't handle it. Yeah, because you can't handle it. But I'll give to that one that has more. I'll give them more. I said, in my development, I come in and I set my behind down with I want to learn. I didn't come in and say, well, I know a little something, so let me sit back here and listen to the teacher. And then I'll raise my hand because I know a little something. I came in empty. I came in, I wanted to learn. Little did I know, God said, God at work. Only way you can learn is to shut up. That's the only way you learn. Shut up and just say, watch this, and take notes and sit back. And as you start to develop, guess what? God, I keep telling folks, these callings, These are that which God calls you to do. I know there's a lot of folks that want to do a lot of things built on what they desire. And you're not successful at them. Have you ever asked yourself why? You know, I'm all right. Well, you don't need to be all right. Because God wants you to become excellent. You don't need to be all right. Why are you so all right? Because that was never your calling. And you will never get there. I don't care how hard you study. I don't care how hard you train yourself. You will never get there. Because this is spiritual. God calls you into his work. So often do we miss this. I wanted to teach. And you got a few that don't want you to teach because they will support you. But then you got everybody else that, ooh, Lord, I be living so good. But you hear what I'm saying? That's not your calling. Same way in that pulpit. Not everybody that been caught up in that pulpit is God called. Or they can give a good speech. But can you give God's word? Can I get you into wherever you are studying? Can I get you to stay right there and drive and come along with it? No. Just stay right there. Can I get you there? No. I don't want you to deviate. You don't have to tell me about your life. You don't have to tell me. Just ride that scripture all the way up. Can you do it? Some would say, yeah, watch this. I've seen it too many times. Yes. And then next time you get up, no. Well, what happened? Because I had to, you don't understand, this is a lot of work. You hear me right? This is a lot of work. It's not your calling. That's all. It's just not your calling. Do what God has gifted you in. And quit trying to do everything in the house. Just do what God has gifted you in. And you'll watch this. And God will move you. I've said that. Because I told you all 25 and 30 years. You know I'm telling the truth. I ain't gonna come out, I'm gonna preach. Did you hear me? Well, what finally made you preach? Because God called. I ain't trying to get up there and let everybody see I can preach. I can teach. And that ain't me. I know some people like the spotlight. That ain't me. I said, if you talk to my family when I was growing up, I was very quiet. I don't say nothing to nobody. How in the world did this happen? What changed it? God calls. It's God that changes. It's God that works with the mind. It's when you let him, then God will develop you. I was stage fright for days. Wouldn't dare to get up in front of nobody. But you hear what I'm saying? Don't be all laughing at me now. We laughing. But you see what I'm saying? It's God called. They're going in. This is awesome. They can't believe what they're seeing. He's telling them ahead of time, you're going to walk into some stuff boy, you ain't never seen before in your life. Remember, they came out of Egypt. They have that slave mentality. They were there for 400 years. Remember that. So if we saw some gold, it's awesome. Something to think about it. But to see it all molded, oh my goodness. Can you imagine when I go to the high places and see their altars and see how they're laced and see how they're laid out? Oh my God. Don't you dare knock that down. We can probably do something. I'm sure we can do something with that. We can put something around that. But you hear what I'm saying? That would be our mindset. Don't destroy it. Let's see what we can do, Calvin. Let's see, what can we put on it? That's really nice. God is telling them, take it down. You only have one God. Watch this. He says in your 55, he says what? But if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall be that those whom you let remain shall be what? Irritant in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall harass you in the land where you dwell. I made the statement. What do you think is going on even to this day? All right. All right. What is going on today? You didn't drive out all the inhabitants. You don't get it. What do you mean? What did I let in? What's the most popular religion over there? Muslim. Stop and think about it. How in the world did it get into that land? Stop and think about it. How did it get there? Because you didn't drive it out. And because you held on to nibblets of it, now look how big it has gotten. And they'll kill you. See what I'm saying? You say, wait a minute. It's the same way with the church. If you don't get that sin out of the camp, it will turn around and contaminate everything in it. Yes, Rosie.
I just want to make sure. So where it says thorns in your sides, but just basically saying they getting on your nerves.
Well, more than getting on your nerves. They more than getting on your nerves. Come on. They more than getting on your nerves. Hello. They in your business. They run the ship. You don't, he told you to possess it. You didn't. You felt, shoot, that's so pretty, leave that. You thought, man, she's so fine, I'll marry her. Hear me? She's going to produce babies. Guess what? Watch this. You see it in the church today. Men that can't be men. Wives making decisions. Wives telling them what to do. You see it today. And what do? And you see what's going on with the church. When it's accountability, responsibility, where is the man? Well, let me check with the wife. What you need to check with the wife for? You can't make a decision. I need to get on back to the house. Why you need to get on back to the house? I've always said that. It doesn't make sense. Partner, if she's going to leave you, she's going to leave you. It's just a matter of time. It may be 30, 40 years, but if she's going to leave, she's going to leave. You just drug it, that's all. You allowed, there's nothing wrong, so y'all don't listen. There's nothing wrong with spoiling your spouse. As long as you understand, and she understands, that you make the decision. That male makes the final decision. Well, he's been making so many bad decisions. Well, you shouldn't have married him. Okay? You shouldn't have married him. Because he's apparently not, watch this, not in Christ. Because if he's in Christ, as he studies the scriptures, he understands his role is to die for you, if need to be. To take that bullet for you. He is to be there for you. He's to stand there for you. And in return, it's that, I'm in that Ephesians 5. And it's in return, she is to submit. You wouldn't be having problems in the house if you both did what you're supposed to be doing. One won't submit, but why won't she submit? Because you played Adam.
That's a good thing to submit.
But here's my point. But here's my point. Why would you submit?
Well, if
That's
you're submitting to God, I'm not going to submit.
Listen to what you're saying. But here's the key. But then you still wrong. But if you're not going to submit to God, and I'm not going to submit to him, then we deal with 1 Corinthians 7 chapter. Then we have to understand that because you may become a believer as time marches on.
Not if they're unbelievers.
Well, that's what I said. But you married that unbeliever. So
No.
you married.
If you were about to marry.
Oh, yeah,
I-
yeah, that's a different about me. Yeah, different.
Well, yeah, but it was different, he was of a different religion,
Right.
Muslim.
Right.
And so, of course, he felt because he was the man of the household that I would have to become Muslim.
Right.
So, no, I was like, when we serve two separate gods, that's not happening.
How often do you see it? I see it so often, God. You find somebody you think is cute and watch this, we think foreign. We think, well, no, she's black just like I'm black. You're white just like I'm white. So what's the problem? But their mentality is foreign.
Right.
They don't serve the same God you serve. That is a foreign problem. Because you need to be as the same, you need to be equally yoked.
Right.
So you need to believe the same. Because you don't believe the same, there is going to be, and here's the thing, you've got to be patient because you're right. I am of Christ and this person's an unbeliever. And so what I need to do is continue to demonstrate to this person who God is. Isn't that a sad thing? Because now you got to go through how many years of life working on somebody?
Right.
Do you mean? Now you've got to be stifled
Right.
because of the foolishness you made. Let me state this. Because I married the Church of Christ person and she's in our Church of Christ. So we're okay. No, you ain't. Just because they said they Church of Christ don't mean diddly squat. It's, first of all, I made this statement and I will stick to my guns. You can't find it anywhere in the scriptures, boyfriend, girlfriend. You can't find it nowhere in the scriptures. When you dated for purpose. That purpose was that she would be my wife. That was the purpose of dating. Well, this is your Old Testament. And we'll get there when we get to Leviticus. But this was the purpose of dating. So watch us. Dating then wasn't to find out how quick we can get into the bed. Dating was, I need to know you. You need to know me. Guess what? You need to understand. Sooner or later, you're going to do something I don't like. Sooner or later, I'm going to do something you don't like. Now, how do we handle this situation there? Do we hang up on one another and say, well, you know what, I'm gone. I'm about. Or what do we, what do you say? Oh, right, it won't work. Right. So, and I agree, but this is what I'm talking about. So, guess what? Now you discovered early.
Right.
And watch it. I mentioned it Sunday. Sex is something you can't control. That's an emotion you can't control. And the reason why you can't control that emotion is because it deals with flesh. The flesh came from the earth. Came from the earth. So the flesh is going to always demand. I don't care, you could have had sex a second ago and then, Lord, come on, let's go back again. You can never please the flesh. So God says, Hebrews 13:4, marriage is honorable and the bed is not defiled. Stay away from a bedroom. Well, I tell, when folks ask me, especially those that are single, well, he wants to take me out, then let him take you to a public place. A public place. Never a private setting. A public setting. Always public. Why? Well, like I told you, because why? That male is his design. He is to go out there, he is to pray. So how do I capture my prey? Well, if she's in the open, I'm going to have a hard time. But if I catch her one-on-one, now I can work on seducing that person. I've said, you can say what you want to say. I go, you don't never walk into a place where Satan can capture you in. Well, I think he's nice looking, good. You know, I already said some stuff.
Why?
Because I wouldn't think you want to date somebody ugly.
So that just shows that you you're already being attracted to them.
And there's nothing wrong with being attracted to the individual. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm
It's
saying that you.
location.
Yeah.
It's still location. Even though if boy, I can't wait just like he can't wait, then we need to hurry up and put something on it. We need to hurry up and put a ring on it. Go watch this. So let me hurry up and put a ring on it. Did you get to know him?
Right.
Now I find out he smoked dope, he takes needles, and guess what? If he don't want to work, Lord, watch it, and I done married him. But you see what I'm saying? Now I done married him. What a mess I done got myself. Why? Because I didn't take the time to learn who the individual was. Let me learn the individual. So when things are ragged, when we don't get along, where do we stand? Can we work through this? Or is this too big of a storm that God is trying to show that's not the person? I can't wait till I give you all to, we get into 35. Boy, I got some stuff in there. But it's going to talk about what I'm talking about. But you got to see what's going on. These people are getting ready to cross over. God says, stop. Stop. One more time. Again. Yes, again. Let me tell you again what's required. You need to hear this. Why? Because you're crossing over to something so beautiful. Can you imagine Manasseh, Reuben, and Gad? Once they cross over and see it. Oh my goodness. But you've already claimed this on this side of the fence. You can't have none of this. So you're going to go in and fight. My time has expired. But stop.